Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third annual fundraiser for Samawada. I'm Pulvasha Durrani, and I will be your MC this evening. Samawada is a not-for-profit organization that was established in 2018. The objective of Samawada is access to Africa, particularly on Somalia. Somalia has a long-standing history of periodic droughts, and the lack of clean water already affects already vulnerable country. Specifically, Samawada assists local communities in developing, accessing, and maintaining water infrastructure. Our present goal here at Samawada is accessing deep water resources that are 100 or more meters below the groundwater using a drilling rig. Deep water wells tap into the water table that's underground, and they're less vulnerable to droughts or water supply issues such as contamination. And it's through your generous contributions that we can work together to make this a reality. You can donate today at samawada.org by clicking the Donate tab, or via e-transfer to info@samawada.org. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would now like to introduce Anisa Shafai, Secretary of Samawada, to share a few words with us.
Thank you, Pulvasha. Good evening. My name is Anisa, and I'm a board member of Samawada organization. On behalf of Samawada, thank you for joining us this evening. First, I would like to reflect briefly on the tumultuous year and a half due to a pandemic that shook us to our core. We're not able to gather this evening in person, but I am hopeful we will defeat this virus and come together in good health post-COVID-19. The world has been impacted by a deadly virus that saw many lives lost. Now, more than ever, we need your help. I was inspired to join this amazing organization by the values instilled in me by my grandmother. Her dedication to help those less fortunate is the reason why I'm here tonight. This is a personal cause dear to my heart. As a refugee coming to this country at a young age, I was blessed by the opportunities provided to me. While I'm a very proud Canadian, I do not forget my home country, Somalia. Somalia, once a war-torn country, is now the driest country in the world. Drought has caused so much devastation, loss of crops, vegetation, leading to famine, and not to mention the many lives lost. In Somalia, a majority of the population does not have access to clean water or proper sanitation. Along with my fellow board members, Samawada, a community bridge building organization, was created to bring clean water to certain parts of Somalia because we believe we have an obligation to do something. Samawada is an incorporated non-for-profit organization with pending charitable status. Our goal is to bring water wells to under-resourced areas in the country. It is our objective that these wells will be managed by local communities in Somalia. We believe in empowering locals to maintain their respective water wells. Often we are asked, how is Samawada different from other organizations? Well, Samawada is not just creating or drilling water wells. Our main objective is to purchase the machinery required to build these wells. This equipment will move from area to area where water is not available. This is an extensive and expensive project. In order to obtain this equipment, we need to raise over $80,000 US. Water is the most significant resource on Earth and should be available to all, yet it's not. We take it for granted, and it's not accessible to many around the world. Please donate to this worthy cause and save lives. We have a duty and an obligation as human beings to end the suffering. Please visit our website and donate to the link provided to you below. Once again, thank you for joining us this evening for our third annual fundraising event.
Thank you, Anisa. Our keynote speaker today is Ismail Fahmy M. Shaiye, CEO of Water Sector Trust Fund in Nairobi. Water Fund is a Kenyan state corporation under the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation. Mr. Shaiye has over 15 years' experience as a natural resources and water resources expert in various countries throughout East Africa and in the United States. with a focus on water and sanitation, environmental regulations and laws, biodiversity protection, climate change and environmental dispute resolution. Mr. Shaiye has contributed greatly to the institutional, policy, and governance framework of the water sector in Kenya. During his tenure as CEO of Waterfund, the organization won the United Nations Public Service Award in 2019 for delivering inclusive and equitable services to leave no one behind. Waterfund is set to win again in 2021 for their output-based aid program under the category of Enhancing the Effectiveness of Public Institutions to Read the SDGs. Since joining the Water Sector Trust Fund in 2017, Mr. Shaiye has mobilized $190 million for the organization for the programs and the operations. This includes $157.5 million from development partners. Mr. Shaiye holds a master's degree in international environmental law from the Vermont Law School, a Master of Science in Natural Resource Management, and a BA in Global Studies from the University of Minnesota. With extensive experience in the application and compliance of multilateral environmental agreements, he is an experienced professional in program management, monitoring, and evaluation and communications. Prior to his position at Waterfund, he worked for the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and also for Kenya Red Cross. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Shaiye.
Hello everyone, my name is Ismail Shaiye. I'm the CEO of Water Sector Trust Fund. Water Sector Trust Fund is a state corporation established under the Water Act 2016 within the Kenyan laws. It is under the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. So Water Sector Trust Fund is the fund within the water sector. We have the two regulators, one regulating water services and the other institution. The one regulating water services is WASREB. The other one that is regulating water resources is WARA, Water Resource Authority. Then you have Water Fund, thereafter the National Water Harvesting Institution, and then we have close to 100 water service providers throughout the country. And then we have these regional bodies, waterworks agencies, that actually do the inter-county projects, bulk projects. Water Fund as an institution was the object of the fund was to provide both conditional and unconditional grants to the counties that are established, the 42 counties that are established in our country, in Kenya. Water is life. It actually sounds like cliche, but really in Swahili we say maji ni uhai. Same thing, maji, water is life. And we also say sanitation is dignity. So water is life, sanitation is dignity, and there's a reason behind that. Water is a key enabler in every sector, in every facet that you can think of in our lives. A very good example is you have water for domestic use. That's the water that me and you drink. There's water for, pastoralist areas. They use it to actually give it to their animals. There's also water for agriculture. That's another aspect. So there's a system called MUS, multiple use of water, and it is actually considered as a big enabler for also industries. So there's nothing. I mean, every morning, if you wake up, everybody, every human being will somehow touch water before they leave their house. That's how water is essential in our lives. Studies have shown that, if you can get your population clean water, then you can reduce diseases by 90%, preventable diseases by 90%. So that tells you also in the health sector why water is very important for us. Most countries, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, did not achieve the MDGs. Then came, the upgraded SDG, which actually even defined more what we are supposed to achieve, clean, potable water. It will take a whole of government approach. Different government institutions working together, that is one aspect. Bringing civil society also on board will also be key in us achieving the SDGs. Another aspect is the public themselves, because water is not just about providing water, but there are several elements come that with water, one of it being governance. Our theory of change as an institution has been, before we do a borehole, who's going to take care of this borehole? So we need to put the systems in place. That way, any infrastructure that we have should be able to sustain itself, number one, but also use the resources, because it's a finite resource, water. That way then, by putting these structures in place around the soft aspect of water, you can actually have that long-term vision for the infrastructure that you're going to put in place. So that is one aspect of achieving. So for us to achieve SDG, the government has to play a role, civil society has to play a role, the international community, the partners that we work with, also have to play a huge role for us to achieve that goal. The nexus between food security, and if you remember, I mentioned how water is an enabler, and it's considered actually one of the key enablers of food security. And without water, you can't, you're not guaranteed to have food security. That said, the nexus between food security and water is quite complex in the context of Somalia. Why? You have seen floods all over Somalia in 8 months, a year ago. There were floods all over Somalia, where even the diaspora were providing assistance to their siblings and their relatives. In Somalia, they were even collecting money to reach out to them to see how they can make a living because of the devastating flood. That said, we are talking about drought. Just within a year, we're talking about another drought in Somalia. Why is it that? There's another animal, there's another monster that we're not mentioning here called climate change. It's here with us. It's either we are getting more water or we are getting a deficit of it. And that is what is happening in this basin of Ewasonyiro, where Somalia and Kenya are actually sharing a good, quite a good border. And if you look at the northern side of Somalia, same thing. If you look at southern Somalia, which is actually the food hub of Somalia, Jamame, Jilib, those areas, and all the way coming down to Ismail, those are some of the areas that were the food basket. Same thing that we have in Kenya in the western side, Kitale, Eldoret. Those are the areas that we consider also our food basket. Much as those areas were not affected in the Kenyan side, but in Somalia, it's quite, telling to see that the floods have hit when the people are about to harvest, what they have been working on. And then comes now the drought that we're dealing with, where now WFP, in the same country where you had water causing havoc, we're now looking at now another drought. After every 5 years we used to have drought, then it has reduced to 3 years. Then we talked about 2 years. Now we're actually talking about every other year that we are having either drought or flood. And we have this pendulum of either drought or floods in that part of the world. Samawada is an organization that is coming up with being headed by Ayan and her colleagues, Mike, and the rest of the team. And I interacted with them really, and felt that there's a saying in both Swahili and also even in Somalia, a journey of X number of thousands starts with with one step. I felt that their objectives are very clear, the intentions are good, and there's big space still. You have these international NGOs, you have national NGOs, you have the government working in Somalia, but still there's that space and there's that niche for Samawada to make a difference at that level. And having had that conversation with the team, they were reaching out to the underserved, pro-poor areas within Somalia, throughout Somalia. And I believe if they get the support that they need, they will make a difference in Somalia. That said, I have worked in Somalia for over 10 years with the US government. And I know that the potential is there, but it's having the right partner, it's having the right objective and vision for you to be able to make a difference in that part of the country. There's a saying, especially in Somali, between barbecuing meat and frying it, if I was to put it in English, you lose soup in between. So don't expect if you barbecue meat and if you fry it, you will get soup from it. So my point is this. In that, if I was to use that context of that parable, Somalia right now is in between what has been happening for the last 20 years and also Mother Nature, climate change, which is also not forgiving. So in between that, balancing that equation, you have people who are actually suffering. So Samawada and other stakeholders have that opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the men and women in the underserved areas throughout the country. So we are here to support them. We're here to provide technical assistance as a neighboring country. And I have actually volunteered myself to work with Samawada and provide them with necessary advice to get to that way they can achieve their objective.
Thank you, Mr. Shaiye. That's so true. Water is life and sanitation is dignity. We'd like to update you on our current progress. As we said, this is our third annual fundraiser. In June of this year, we held an information session to spread awareness of the critical need to provide access to clean water more than ever during this dire pandemic situation. And currently, the team is working on getting registered locally in Somalia. In addition, Samawada is pleased to be teaming with Dr. Samira Ali, a professor and consultant in Phoenix, Arizona, to develop a curriculum that'll educate locals on the impact of contaminated water on human health and overall hygiene. As Anisa had pointed out earlier, for Samawada to achieve its objective, the team needs to raise 80,000 US dollars. Already, thank you to the generosity of people such as yourself, Samawada has raised 25K. We still have a way to go. Remember, you can donate at samawada.org or via e-transfer to info@samawada.org. I'd now like to introduce you to Dr. Samira Ali. Dr. Samira Ali is a doctoral prepared registered nurse in the United States. She's a senior consultant who designs and implements electronic health records. Dr. Ali also teaches graduate student nursing and health informatics. And she has over 20 years of experience in both teaching but also as a critical care nurse. Her area of interest is actually the standardization of nursing terminology used in electronic patient records and in developing nursing models for the electronic health world that would enhance standardization and interoperability of the content. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ali.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sister, for the introduction. I'm delighted to be here. And my job is actually today to discuss a few points about water, the benefits of water, signs and symptoms associated with lack of water or dehydration. What are some of the impacts associated with drinking unclean water? And also explain the benefits of supporting this project, which is Samawada project, that aims to develop the water infrastructure for Somaliland and also improve the people's access to water. So just to give you a brief description of water and the importance of water, you can see from the image 50 to 70% of your body weight comes actually from is water, and if you can see the rest is solids or fat. Also, per gender, males have more water and less solid, and women have the opposite. They have more solids and less water. And just to give you a brief idea, 2/3 of your body fluid or water is in the cell, and 1/3 is outside the cell. And if we look at outside the cell, 20% is plasma, and 80% is interstitial fluid. I'm not going to use too many medical jargons. I'm going to try and simplify it as much as possible, but then you can see why we need water. Now I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of drinking water. If you look at my slide, you can see many body parts or systems are touched. If we start from the bottom up, water prevents constipation and aids digestion. There we're talking about the gastrointestinal system. It just works on your gastrointestinal system, and if you drink enough water, you have less constipation, and it helps with your digestion. Let's go back up. Next one is the urinary bladder. It flushes bacteria from the bladder, so you will not end up with urinary tract infections. The next one up is carrying nutrients and oxygen to the cell. Body needs nutrients and oxygen in order to survive and live. The cells need that. Look at next one is normalizing your blood pressure. And the next one is looking at your temperature. It regulates your temperature. And the most important one is keeping the body in equilibrium or balance. So just looking at this slide, you can see how much the benefit of water and how many systems within your body it affects or it regulates. So if you don't have water, you can see you will have some problems with basic stuff, like you will end up with constipation, your sugar is out of whack, your blood pressure is not regulated, you might end up with low blood pressure, your temperature might be not regulated. Just to give you an idea on the impact of lack of water. If we all have been there, some days we forget to drink water, and then you remember when you start having constant headaches, and then you feel
Yeah.
fatigued, you feel tired. It affects your mouth. If your mouth's dry, you end up with a bad breath. If there's no enough fluid in your gastrointestinal system, you end up with constipation. You end up with poor sugar regulation, poor skin health, decreased urination. So here, decreased urination, you are exposed to urinary tract infection. And if your GI system, you don't have enough water in your system, you might end up with constipation. Here you might feel exhausted and tired and fatigued and constant headache because your water is not balanced, it's not in equilibrium, and it affects your poor skin. If you pull the skin of the person up, you will see it's actually losing the elasticity. Now, what is the impact of lack of water? I went and researched in the WHO to see what they say about this issue. And the keyword they have used is the lack of water. Look at the keyword is preventable health risk. Lack of water and inappropriately managed water exposes individuals to preventable health risks. That's the keyword. It means we can prevent this problem. Now, if Samawada goes there and builds wells over there and moves on to another cities and does the same thing, it will prevent these health risks that I have described. People will have less constipation, people will have less urinary tract infection, people will not suffer from constipation or suffer from any other condition I have described earlier, and they will not be drinking contaminated water. Who in the 21st century drinks contaminated water? How can we sleep at night when we know our brothers and sisters in Somalia are suffering like this from preventable diseases? Some of those preventable diseases that we talk about are those listed in my slide, like cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, hepatitis A, typhoid, polio. Why would people get hepatitis? Because of the poor sanitation. When they have small wells there, people might wash up, they might defecate, they might urinate, and those all are contaminated. Somebody else might come and drink from that dirty water. What happens? This is the real world over there, and they might end up with diarrhea. And kids die from diarrhea. That, can you imagine? Adults die from diarrhea in Somalia. So these are preventable diseases that we, with little support from those of us who are living overseas, we could help these individuals or human beings in our country and prevent these people from dying from preventable diseases. It's our obligation as Muslims to help others in need. I don't need to go very far. And this is actually the words from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes water as a gift from the heavens to support the sustenance of human life. So just that line tells you if you don't have water, it does impact your health. It does impact your sustenance of life. We are obligated to help people that need water. Water is a gift from Allah. Okay, and this slide I'm going just to describe who Samawada is. It's a community bridge building organization. They are non-for-profit organization. That's their charitable status is pending, and it's contingent on building the water wells in Somalia. So what we can do to help them is to raise funds to purchase these equipments needed to develop the water infrastructure that will improve the lives and the conditions of our fellow brothers and sisters in Somalia. Not only they will build the water infrastructure, but they will also train local communities in many areas such as basic hand washing, how to prevent preventable diseases such as diarrhea, constipation, all the items that I've discussed earlier. And they aim to support as many communities as possible. Now, my last slide is, so let me conclude with this hadith, and I'm sure you've heard it before or seen it before, and there's nothing more prestigious than this. And I'm really delighted that I was able to read this hadith and understand it and share it with you so that you can understand when you relieve somebody's burden in this world, Allah will relieve your burden on the day of judgment from the burdens that you're carrying with you on the day of judgment. So think about that. My whole intention is to touch your heart, to act, support Samawada, and think of our brothers and sisters that do not have access to water, clean water in 21st century. I hope this touches your heart. I hope you start acting. And I want to thank the organizing committee and thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. That's so true. I didn't realize I knew water had a great impact on our lives, but I didn't realize how much and how many simple preventable diseases and health issues can be resolved simply with having clean water. Quite phenomenal. So thank you both to our speakers, Dr. Ali and Mr. Shafai, for giving us a lot of really, really great information. So we have here, this is actually the rig that we are raising funds to purchase. As you can see, it's pretty heavy duty, and we're looking at drilling wells that are 100 meters or even further below. And the key thing is in having this, we're able to move around and drill all of, whatever area needs it. And again, remember, as I stated earlier, deep water wells can be more permanent, have a greater water source. I'm so sorry, we've got a little bit of background sound. Okay. All right, we're back. So again, that's what we're raising our money for. We've already hit 25K, which is awesome, but we still definitely have a bit to go with 80,000 US dollars that we need to raise. So again, a reminder, you can visit samawada.org and you'll see at the top of the page, there's just click donate and then you'll be taken right straight forward to the donation page. Or you can also send an e-transfer to info@samawada.org. And just a reminder, as I said, we had our update a little bit earlier. So Dr. Ali, who just spoke, is going to be collaborating with us, which is fantastic, in developing a curriculum that's going to be educating the locals. So that's exactly where we're drilling the wells. We want to educate the locals on the impact of the water. So making sure that they understand contaminated water really does affect your human health and your hygiene. And this ties into what Mr. Shaiye was saying, that it's not just about drilling the well, it's also the question of who's going to take care of it. So that understanding and communicating that information is something that we can start to get moving, right? Even before we start to build the well, so that knowledge is there. And it'll make such a difference in ensuring that it's not sort of just a one time, but it continues and they're able to take care of it and have a continual access to this fresh water.
A world full of inequality. Basic needs become complexity. Some use it for luxury. Others walk in scalding heat, carrying dirty drops bare feet, praying for a rain, only to have a grain. No drops in every nation. Children suffering and dying for donation. Let's build a foundation in every location.
Thank you. That was a spoken word piece, and you may recognize the voice. It was voiced by our own Anisa Shafai. Today's event would not happen with the support from other organizations. We're really grateful to our sponsors. As you saw perhaps at the beginning, our two sponsors today are Human Concern International and Islamic Relief. Human Concern International is a global charity that was founded a long time ago, 1979, and they deliver life-saving aid to millions of people that are crippled by crisis. With a commitment to sustainable development, Human Concern International maximizes donation impacts by taking a holistic approach to development that's rooted in empowering the communities that they work in. If you could please welcome Ms. Mahmouda Khan, Executive Director at Human Concern International. Oh, I'm sorry, we actually don't have audio from Ms. Khan. You
Yes,
could
I
just
was muted
rectify
again.
that.
I
There we
keep doing
go.
this.
Okay, I'm queen at that. I do it all the time.
Thank you so much once again. Sorry about that. Salam and peace, everyone. It's really a great honor to be here with Samawada in support of this really important and wonderful cause. When my journey started with HCI about a decade ago as a volunteer, one of the the big and main campaign HCI was working on was the Somalia famine. And over the past decades, we have done many projects, water projects across the world, including Somalia. Now, one thing I'm noticing is years after years, the situation is worsening and the needs of the people are increasing, which is a great concern, and we all need to act now. There is no tomorrow. We need to act today. One of many things that rejuvenated me during this pandemic is how connected we are, no matter what part of the world we live in. The health and hygiene crisis in Somalia will impact every part of the world and will have an effect on the lives of our children and their future. And that is why we need to act today. At HCI, our vision is a world without poverty and injustice. And our main vision is to save lives and move people from crisis to sustainability. And that's why HCI and our entire team, we feel very connected to Samawada and the cause they're working for. What I especially love about Samawada is that they are trying to empower the communities to help them take care of each other and make them become independent. And as you heard Dr. Samira Ali say earlier, that these water-related issues, these are very easily solvable if we all come together and if we all lend a hand, give our support by making small contribution. So please donate generously to Samawada, follow them to learn more about their work, a wonderful work that they're doing, and support them in any way possible, please, even if it is by spreading awareness by word of mouth or by raising your hand in dua, in prayers for the brothers and sisters and children in Somalia and across the world. Thank you once again, Samawada, for putting together this event. HCI is really honored to be standing beside you, and we look forward to continuing working with you in future. Thank you to Ayan, the pioneer behind Samawada, and all the wonderful team volunteers for putting this together for us once again. The presentation was really great. So thank you guys, and inshallah, we pray for you. We're beside you. You'll find us with you. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Ms. Khan. Our other sponsor today for the event is Islamic Relief. Islamic Relief helps the impoverished access basic services, including education, water and sanitation, and healthcare. They're on hand to work with communities to strengthen their resilience to calamities, and they provide vital emergency aid when disasters occur. Please welcome Mr. Yeza Nasruddin, the Northern Eastern Ontario Regional Manager for Islamic Relief.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
First of all, as you said, I'm Yazan Nasruddin, Regional Manager for Islamic Relief Canada. Assalamu alaikum jami'an. As you said, we are a charity helping those in need since 1984, locally and abroad. Our website is islamicrelief.ca. We are a Canadian registered charity that helps the impoverished access basic services by providing emergency response or relief at the time of disasters. And also at the time of peace, we do promote sustainable economic and social development solutions. In Canada alone, we have helped over 30 million people with over 270 yearly projects. Our projects include infrastructure, livelihood, healthcare, education, sanitation, and water. And that's why I'm here. That's why we're sponsoring this. We're all in it together. Water actually connects, like the presentation was amazing. Water connects every aspect of life. It's good access to safe water can quickly turn into problems, into potential, turn problems into potential solutions. If there is good access, these can include empowering people, with time for school and work, contributing to improved health for women and children and families around the world, and also combating disease. However, sadly, the reality is water cannot be accessed equally around the world. Nearly 1.1 billion people worldwide lack access to water, and a total of 2.7 billion find water scarce for at least once 1 month of the year. So there is problems with water, although it's so important, as I said, and as the presentation went on, but we need to help it. We need to solve it all together. And that's why Samawada was born. It's a creative, really smart bridge building organization. It's assisting communities in developing and accessing and maintaining water infrastructure in East Africa and Somalia. It's really the work of Samawada enhances all the infrastructure, local economy, agriculture, natural environment, health of the population, and also education of the population. Really, the work of Samawada is very important, and it has to be supported. We're really proud to sponsor Samawada. We're really proud to collaborate with Samawada, and this year, every year, and next year. I really ask everybody to come together and try to solve water solutions around the world. And today is Samawada's Day. I really ask everybody to donate. Please support Samawada's work. Please volunteer. Please donate. Please pray for them. We're all in it together. That's why we are here. That's why we support their work. We wish them the best. We wish all the staff, all the board members, all the volunteers. We thank them for this beautiful work. Samawada is trying to change the world one step at a time by doing something to the world, to the water problem, and which is a very, very important problem right now, sadly, in the world. Thanks again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. Please continue the good work of Samawada, and our thanks today for letting me be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nasruddin. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our program today. We want to thank you, all of you supporters, for taking the time to join us at this virtual event for this, as you know, a super important cause. As always, it's you who help to make change like this in the world. And we know life is uncertain, the world itself is uncertain, but one thing is true. Together we can make things better. And that's what Samawada is working towards. So again, remember, you can donate at samawada.org or via e-transfer at info@samawada.org. Thank you all and have yourself a wonderful evening.